Hey everyone, thank you for joining our authentic relating game session. We have a nice set of games planned today. And as you know, the recording, if you're watching the recording, then you'll not see the actual games being played out because it's a intimate sharing between the people who are live and here. But you should get a sense of what the games were played, and you can also play on your own with your family and friends. All right, so with that, our theme for today is appreciation. But I found this very interesting set of games. So, and all games we'll play today is credit to the Authentic Relating Games Manual. So, if you want to check them out, it's authrev.org. So, you can check there and find more games and more information on authentic relating. They also do trainings and so on. So, you can check them out. Okay, so coming to our games today, so we want to get into appreciation, our gratitude, which has been the theme that we've been sort of on for the last week or more. And so
Yeah.
10 days or more actually. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll start with a complaint game. So we can sort of see the contrast of how something feels, and then how when you shift, how does that feel? And also, very interesting thing I noted as they were explaining the game was they have a variation of this complaint game as well. Where basically the complaint game is where we'll start to complain. So we'll freely complain for a bit about whatever aspect of your life you've been feeling. Okay, I have, and even if you've been in so much in gratitude, because I was also like looking for what do I really, I wasn't in that complaining feeling when I just woke up today. So I was like, okay, how do we tackle it then? But just go to any area that usually keeps coming back and try to get into that mode and see, whether you can complain a bit. And also, yeah, there was this experience where there was a black man when they were playing this that he'd been so used to just buckling down and doing things that he felt very it was hard for him to even go ahead and complain or tantrum about something. Like you're so used to not doing it that you've never allowed yourself to get into that mode. So if that's true for you, it's not true for me. I'm very good at complaining. But if that's true for you, then maybe just sort of see how you can drop some of that. If you've been the one that holds it all together, and if that's the mode you've been in, then good to sort of drop that, see how much you can drop that and be, it's allowed here. Basically, this is the space where you can freely complain. So that's what we'll do for a while. Let me just share what the game is like. So we'll split into pairs, and we'll have an A and a B. So one person goes first and the other person can sort of keep time a little bit maybe and talk for 2 minutes about a situation in your life that you're not satisfied with, an area where you want something to be different or better, right? Pick something like that and complain. Go for it. Go all the way. And take a negative view of the situation as if you were in a bad mood, right? So, or really amp it up and take it, talk about this place as a victim, like how you're a victim. Just go into that mode of like really, all out on it. And then the same thing, that person pauses after 2 minutes and the other person goes and does the same thing, right? Complain about any area of your life that's been bad. And then after this, now we'll switch. So this happens for, let's say, around 5 minutes, if it's 2 minutes each. And then now the first person who went ahead will talk as the voice of their own higher self. So you, whatever you can access best at this moment, just sort of tune in and say, what would your most resourceful state now say about the same situation? So go and talk about that for 3 minutes. And then after one person is done, the other person does the same. They tune into their higher self and speaks about the same situation for 3 minutes, right? And then
So,
that
do you want
that
to give
can
an example?
Yeah, so for example, let's say me and you are going, right? Me and Shubhra are sort of playing this game. First I start and I will send you, like when you're in the breakout, I'm going to send you like now it's time to switch to this mode, right? So that way you'll have a track of time as well. So, but let's say Shubhra, you and I are doing this. So I will start, for example, and I'll go for 2 minutes and talk about anything I want to complain about, right? Like um, I'll say this is how I feel, and I wish this was better, uh, and all this is how I feel about it, right? Like I'm always just sort of doing this, or how I feel like a victim around here, and nobody cares about this, like whatever it is true for you in your situation. You can sort of really say what, however comfortable you feel sharing in this space. Of course, please honor yourself and your like if it's too much for you, then make sure you're sort of protecting or taking care of yourself. Let me put it that way. But be brave, and as much as you can, this is a authentic sort of space, and hopefully we're all sort of holding on to these and all of you here, I know, so I know you've all sort of done this before a bit, so yeah, just try and tap into the deepest feeling you can. And so I do that, Shubhra, for 2 minutes, and then you'll go for 2 minutes and do the same in your whatever is the complaint area in your life. You will sort of talk about that.
Okay.
And then I go again, and now I'll not, now I'll come out of the complaining mode. Now I'll say, if it was my higher self speaking to the same topic, what would my higher self say about this? Now that we've sort of heard the whole complaint, what would my higher self give as the give it, whatever, right? What's coming from that space? And then
Okay.
it's like a response almost. And then
Mhm.
yeah, and then after that you do the same for yourself. So I'm not doing it for you. We'll sort of do it for ourselves. Like I'll complain and I'll sort of say what's my higher self saying. So the other person is just being a
Mhm.
witness, it's just being a listening space to hold that, right? To hold all of that. And you're being witnessed, you're being seen by the other person. So
Okay.
great. Any questions?
Is it like circumstances and other people and stuff like that, right? It's not like what I'm not
It could be
able to do,
anything.
right?
Yeah, for me as well, I couldn't, like I was trying to see what it would be, and I couldn't find anything outside. It was more about, I wish I was better at this. That's also fine. Like whatever it is that you're finding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I want to be like this, but I'm not able to be like this. Whatever. I want to be, for example, I'll say I
Mm.
want to be less reactive, but I can't. I always fail and I don't know what to do about it. Right. Like, and I'm complaining about it. Like, yeah, this go
Yeah.
for it. Like, I don't know when I'll ever improve. I don't know if there's any hope. Like
Well,
whatever.
that sounds more relatable.
Yeah. Whatever it is, and it needn't be that. Maybe it's about someone else, maybe it's about a life situation. um
Yeah.
yeah, it's your choice. Like there's no limit to that, or no. Yeah, be creative with it. Like whatever's true for you is the most important thing is what's really true for you in this moment, right? Like what are you, when I even as I spoke this, I think I'm sure there's something that immediately came up and said, this is that area which is kind of still I have complaints about. So pick that and really sort of go deep into that complaining mode for now, for the first 2 minutes, and then again, then you have to switch and go to the higher self mode. All
Yeah.
right. So anybody, any questions? Okay, it's clear. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and I'm also going to share as we move through it, I'm going to share, like it'll come in the breakout, it'll come up as a pop-up, right? So don't worry about that. So here, so this is the game. Um, I think you'll be able to see it even when you're in a breakout, but don't worry, I'll sort of put in one line on what we're going to do. All right, so if you're good and no questions, then I'm going to pause the recording and all right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. So yes, please, we'll do some sharebacks. Share, anybody wants to share about how this experience was for you? You don't have to
Okay,
share
I'll
the
I'll
details,
start.
you can just share about, yeah.
Okay, I was actually not going to join this, but I'm glad I joined because I was not in my element, and I got clear validations that my, like after complaining and whatever my higher self was telling me to do, which I'm trying to follow, even though it was a bit hard. But I got very clear signs and validations during the course of the the session. So I am so glad I joined. I really am glad.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you so much, Manisha. I'm glad. Okay, anyone else? Any insights? Anything that came up for you that was surprising or not?
So Anamika and I shared were, the like first I started with whatever complaints, or actually more it was like a state of mind that,
Yeah.
is the what takes me out of my
Mm,
calm and peace state. So then, and like when we came to the higher state, then it was like I said, okay, let me just say what this higher state says.
mm,
And then, it might have a very, like, which might seem like a lofty ideal, but then can I just stay with it, and can I just keep coming back to it,
mm,
right? Whenever, because that's not going away. What was like, I'm afraid that, this peaceful state will go away. But
mm,
then there is times when, when it can come back as well. So, if you're looking at it as everything changing
mm.
eventually, so you're not going to constantly be, I'm like peaceful forever.
Yeah.
The ups and downs will happen, the changes will happen. And then just the having that like anchor in a way that if you can keep coming back to, uh, whatever your higher self tells you
Mm,
is the better state, that
mm.
that
Yeah.
you will be out of this, and then you can come back to it.
Mm.
So just that, seeing that's helpful.
Great.
You don't have to leave it that, oh, I'll be out of my peace. Yeah, so what? And then you can come back.
Yeah, and you don't have to always be in your higher selves. It's okay to go. So yeah, that's a beautiful one. Thank you. Anyone else? Pratiksha, Anamika, anything? Pratiksha, you were sharing. You want to share about what?
Yeah. So it felt really good complaining. And like I was mentioning, I finished complaining and there was still more time to complain. And I could find more to complain.
Yeah.
So I just realized that I'm probably just repeating the same complaints during the day, and I'm feeling like, oh my God, there's so much not working for me. Whereas
Yeah.
it's probably the same thing going on over and over again. So that and having a sounding board really helps. Someone you can just speak to and,
Mm,
just vent out everything. And even listening to you, excuse me, listening to you kind of just made me feel better about how you are dealing with things. And like I said, you mentioning that the faults are essential to
mm,
grow, and doing practices specific to calming your trigger. So those two things really help me kind of feel lighter. Thank you.
yeah. No, beautiful. No, it's so true about the same things are looping in your head, and you feel like, oh my God, there's a lot. And when you actually start saying, and somebody gives you space for it, you realize, okay, that's all I needed. Like I just needed to get it out, and now I'm in a better space, right? Like, and of course, you need to shift and access that other state. Like otherwise, you're going to keep looping. But yeah, it's so both are so powerful. Like getting that space sometimes to just be heard that this is what's bothering me, and then to sort of then change to that other, try and access the higher state. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. Shubhra.
Right. I think I want to add that when you give yourself permission, then it's okay to complain, because I think usually you would be like, it's not good. I'm not supposed to, like, and but here the challenge is like, yeah, complain. So then you go on and you're like, okay, now I'm done. Like, I feel complete. I don't have any more complaints. So you change your perspective from I'm restraining myself and I have this, so much complaints to, okay, I
Yeah.
have this complaint A, B, C, I'm done. But, and then switching to the higher self, of course, always those are also the things that you've always known, but it's just giving that time. And I think the important thing about authentic relating is the other person is also kind of just being there, like you're being heard, but you're not being offered advice, you're
Mm,
not being judged, right?
mm,
So I think that helps, because in life, even if you have friends, well-wishers, whoever, like first thing you will get is, okay, before even you complete your sentence, they'll come up with a plan to advise you. That's the very normal,
True.
thing. Or they will say, hey, I also have this, and I also have this. It becomes about them.
Yeah.
They know you were in the background. So you
Yeah.
never feel heard, so to
Heard.
say, right? So this authentic relating gives you a chance to hear the other person out as well. You're keeping time. You're not really thinking, when is he going to finish so I can, talk.
Yeah.
So you're just being there. I think it creates the atmosphere
Yeah.
for
No.
things. And then as fully feeling very healing. So once you've complained, then what is there to complain about? I think we
Yeah.
should do this every day.
Yeah.
A complaining time and then accessing to the heart of time, and then
I
we're
know it.
good.
I was thinking now as you're saying, I'm like, good, catch your family member and say, listen, now you're just going to listen for the next 3 minutes. And then now you can tell me, or maybe I don't want your advice, and that's fine. And make it that's the beauty of this authentic rating games, because you create this container where everyone knows
Family member,
how
I'm not
to.
really sure, sorry, because the family member
It's
is
hard.
like a
No, just
complicated.
that's why they say just start here in these kind of spaces and then build that muscle to be able to, do it elsewhere. Because it's hard. It's hard when you're because like you like don't trigger me, right? Like in this situation, if it's your shared experience, you'll be like, no, but I do this or whatever, right? Like so it's hard. So this is a
Yeah, I think
easy ground to like practice these skills. Yeah.
either they'll advise or they'll agree. Yeah, yeah, you are that.
You are.
So you don't hear that, right? You just want silence.
I
You want
know.
to,
Oh God.
I think you want to hear your own self
Yeah.
voicing it out. And
Yeah.
then it's out of your system. And then whatever else was there, like shows up, sort of thing. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it won't come again, but you want to hear yourself out
True,
loud
and
and clear.
this is very
And then
interesting.
let go.
It's very interesting you said this because just this week I had this, I was with my husband and we were doing something and I was getting like dysregulated. I was like getting really agitated, and I'm like, and he was not able to be supportive. And I'm saying, saying if you just say yes, I know this is hard for you, it's going to help me. And I'm even communicating that, and he says, yes, I know everything is hard for you, and I lost it. Like, okay, that's not what I wanted to hear. Like you said, it's not
It's so
about
relatable.
just agree with me about how I'm, like it's like, oh God, I'm like, no, this skill needs to go even higher to be able to tackle this. So yeah, it's a
I
practice.
think we, I think we could write a script and say, hey, I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say. Here is your script. You listen and then you say this line. I understand.
Yeah.
And that's it. I hear you. And then understood something like that.
No, the
But
beauty
yeah, it
of
felt good. So it's a good way, I think, to lighten up.
yeah.
Whatever. Like, because I was thinking, mere to complain in here. What am I going to do in this session? But and I'm always happy. But yeah, so it's just I think that burden of how one should behave,
Mm,
one shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. Like you break all of those things, you hear yourself out, and you just realize, okay, it's like it is what it is, and then I do already have a way to deal with it. I don't really need and just probably need to write it down or follow it or come
mm.
back to it. As Puneet said, it's
Yeah,
it's
just come
there,
back.
so you come back to it whenever you can. So I think in that way, authentic relating games always surprise and they bring a lot of value.
Yeah.
So thank you, Smitha.
Thank you. No, I like what you said about, especially in these spiritual so-called groups or saying we're all about gratitude, we're all about this, we're like, and so we're creating this almost barrier to be like, I sometimes maybe I need to complain, right? And just give
Yeah.
that space for your human experience of like, this is how I feel right now. And that's the truth of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, totally, totally. I mean, even for gratitude challenge, I would say is like you just take out 5 minutes of your day to appreciate something. The rest of the day, so you're not going to live in pseudo positivity like that. That will be even more toxic. So that's what the thing is. You feel everything, but you choose to also see what is good, right? Like the girl example that I was talking before the call started. So if she's paralyzed, waist down, she's focusing on, hey, what abilities do I still have? I can see, I can hear, I can watch. I can watch things, I can talk, and so that's the thing. Like just focusing on that,
Mm.
and yeah, and complain all you want because that's what we learned today. So
Yeah.
a healthy balance is good. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Now on to the next game, I guess.
Yes.
You know, you know what I think take from this discussion you were having. I was realized that in my this thing, I am actually quite averse to other people complaining. In fact, I need to listen and be that container because sometimes when my daughter starts complaining, I'm like, oh, again, and those are things I've heard, or I'm sure like others have also experienced कि हाँ ये तो मैं सुन चुकी हूँ, ये तुम बोल चुके हो, ये प्रॉब्लम तुम्हारा ongoing है. But I think that I have to make that time for her. Okay, like 10 minutes, complain all you want, and then let's get on with it, right? Let's take that out of the way. Because if you don't take that out of the way, it kind of festers, right? Kind of festers, kind of is there, and then and it's also that feel of I'm not being heard. Nobody has heard me. Nobody
Yeah.
has listened to me complain about this, at least today. So I guess I have to be more like it really brought this thing very sharply into my this thing that I
No,
have.
but I would just add that don't do it for getting it out of the way because then you'll be impatient.
Yeah,
It comes
not
to a
out of
place
the
of
way, but
presence
like,
only.
yeah,
That I'm
yeah,
going to be here 10 minutes and just be present. And
yeah.
just think you're in your head that you're playing a authentic relating game with Smita. So you
Mm,
can't offer an opinion or you
yeah.
can't do anything. No
And
advice, no
she's very
opinion, no
and she's
judgment.
very like that. She will tell you the script. She will say like, you have to say this now. You have to say okay. You have to keep quiet now
Even easier, follow it.
and listen. And you have to say okay, I understand. So she will give me the script.
Perfect. She's perfect.
All right. So great, great. Thank you for sharing all of that. So lovely. No, I love it. Like, authentic relating games, the tricky part is you can't talk a lot about it. Only when you experience it, you realize the magic of what it does. Like the presence, just the holding space, all of these things are so valuable. And it's like coming back to it and practicing it is so powerful. All right, next game. I know we're at time. We'll do this for the next 7 minutes or so, and then we'll be done. So we'll do like these appreciation dyads, they're calling it. So all we'll do is pair up, and then so each person has around 3 to 4 minutes to keep completing this sentence stem. Being with you, I appreciate, right? Like, and just tune into the present moment. And you can talk about something about yourself, something about the other person, or both, right? Or maybe like in this moment about in your world, whatever you're grateful for or whatever you appreciate. So just take a few minutes. Each person goes for 3, 4 minutes and then switch. The other person goes um and that's it, and then we'll come back. So is let me know if that's clear. So this is the sentence stem that you'll keep saying. Being with you, I appreciate, right? Something about yourself, something about the present moment, something about you, or something about the other person. Okay. Let me know if there's any confusion. Okay, good. Let me pause. Hello.
Hi.
I
Okay. You want to share how that was for you?
Yeah, now I'll go. So
Yeah.
you
Go.
said being with you, I appreciate, and it's to do with the present moment and also about yourself. So when I shared, I did a lot about myself, and dear Shubhra said everything for 3 minutes about me, about yeah. So it was
All
like
right.
one, basking in my glory.
Yeah.
I was having
Nice.
like a appreciation bath. I was having.
Wow.
Everything. She didn't say anything about herself. It was all about me and the work I do and that I've come to be Zen before and the meditative lines I did, everything that I did. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful appreciation bath for me. That's what I wanted to say.
Nice. So lovely. No, this is so good. We should, the only tricky part is we like know each other now, like the group here, but sometimes we don't know, then we can't do much. But for those who know each other, we should just make this a practice. It's so good, right? Like you should just do this like regularly.
Yeah.
I know. Lovely.
Just
That's
to
the
say
beauty
about
of these
Anamika,
authentic
the three
relating
minutes was not
sessions.
enough. We
Mm.
used every second and you couldn't finish because Anamika is so great. So not my fault.
So good. No, no. Amazing people. That's why. Okay. Who else wants to share? Puneet,
Well,
Manisha.
like I,
Manisha,
yeah,
Manisha and
like I
I,
said,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
I said that being with you, with Puneet, you or any of you BZen group people, I can just be my authentic self and have a heart to heart, soul to soul talk, and without any fears of being judged.
Nice. Lovely.
Yeah,
Great. No, we're hoping to sort of pass this on, right? And you create more and more such spaces in our wherever we are, like in our houses,
yeah,
in our workplaces, everywhere. Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
yeah. It should be like a domino effect on the.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Feeling complete. Anything, Puneet Shubra? You want to add? Are you
No,
good?
it was a wonderful session, really. Like, so many things came up, so many, discussions, and just just so much value in doing this, as a practice. Sometimes we write gratitude, we say, okay, these three things, one, two, three, but just that having a person to be there, listen to you, hold space, that's where there's a lot of value. Yeah.
I think in our current generation of it's an even more, right? Like we somehow miss that. We don't get it as
Yeah.
much. Everyone, even if you're next to each other, we're usually looking at our phone and all that is so much. Even if you don't want to, you're kind of pulled there and you're doing that. So
Right, like people go for whatever problems they go discussing, they go to therapy, for
mm,
example, and the therapy continues for some people for years and years and years because they continue repeating the same stories and they keep telling the therapist, pretty much the themes are the same, whatever,
mm,
and it doesn't change them unless you're ready to shift from, okay, this, like you're complaining more to can you now shift to something.
mm,
Uh, right. So this is like that practice of shifting yourself to the other side, right? That and then the appreciative side. So I think that's where some of those spaces lack this,
yeah.
right?
No, it's a powerful process for sure. I agree. And
I
I'm
must send you all this forward about Singapore, how they are coping with all this. It's very informative and good to go
yeah,
through. Yeah,
put it in the interactive
I'll
group.
do that.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Shubra, anything
I
on
just want,
the
yeah, I just want to add that I think the whole purpose of Beason is that you, Anamika in my conversation with her said that like, she had the courage to come in even if she wasn't able to come for months because there are other priorities. It doesn't mean that you don't want to. Sometimes you cannot, and maybe you catch
definitely.
recording, maybe not. But the whole thing is, I would like to anybody who's watching the recording even is like, you know, I think people whoever shows up has always given us the feedback they feel better after. Like nobody has said that, hey, I joined this session, it was so useless. I mean, not that I'm just saying you actually from the inside, some of those things like, for example, you feel better. You feel
Yeah.
better. You hear meditation, you do art, or you do authentic relating, you hear from, any of these wonderful people. You take something,
Mm.
or you are able to like see something in yourself which was already there. So
Yeah.
either way, you feel better. So I think it's like definitely I would say it's time well spent. And then I think our motto was to begin with the three of us will show up and we'll dedicate this time for ourselves. And I think I am so grateful for that itself. And whoever shows up, their energy, adds up and I'm really, really grateful. So I think this is a very genuine place to be. If you really want to be heard and to be seen and to just be, and you have to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like those things cannot be put in words. Like,
Yeah.
nowadays everything is available. You can Google it, you can read all the gyan that there is. If that was solving problems, everything would have been solved,
True.
right? But we have to deal with the real emotions, the real things, and the fact that today I'm very, sounding very nice and sorted, and tomorrow again I'm going to have the same,
Change is impermanence. Yeah.
that Vikram
Right.
Betal thing, वो
And
भाग
then
जाता है. The
having
moment you speak up, the ghost has gone on the thing again, the Vikram Betal, right? And then again you start. So it's like that.
Yeah.
right,
And
and
so
then
we,
holding space for that, right? That's what I was,
yeah.
to Manisha, that some
And
days
knowing that
you're not
all of us
in.
are in there, right? No, nobody, we are not claiming to be that, okay, we have arrived and we'll help you arrive. No, we haven't arrived anywhere. We have zero idea where to arrive.
Yeah. We
But
just
be with us. We are willing to bear ourselves that, hey, I don't know this, but this is a practice I found it helped me for a bit. So would you like to join us?
it's like
And
there's a
that's it.
lighthouse and we keep seeing it and trying to steer towards it again and again and again, right? Like that's all.
Yeah, and the only thing we guarantee is it's with love, it's with no judgment. It's, because we know we have, when
Yeah.
you start knowing something, I think you know how much you know 0.1%, and then you realize there's like 100%, right? And if you don't know, so coming to practice from not, not just the reading, not just listening about it, but being authentic yourself. Like
Yeah.
the whole idea to do it yourself is, I think, what is best about all of these practices, especially about authentic relating,
Yeah.
because
True.
you have to, and then we don't record that part, so you don't have to be fearful. And I've heard a lot of people say that they'll type messages and they'll delete it. What will people think about me? Hopefully we are trying to create a space where you don't care about what will you have enough people who in your life who see you every day, who you can't avoid, who will judge you anyway. So
Mm.
here, these are the people all across the world. You can just shut your computers and they don't exist for you. So just be yourself. Like, it's an opportunity to be authentic
True.
without really coming into way of relationships and other things. So I think that's beautiful about it.
True, true. And that's all we're trying to do, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
like Subra said, like there's so much available. It's just that we are as humans, you miss that this is shared experience we have. We kind of coming together and being there for each other and sharing whatever we know. And I think that and
Yeah.
holding that space. Yeah, that's all we're doing. And yeah. And if
Yeah.
anyone
And
is
over the year,
file
I
and
think we have deeply connected over there with some of these people who we only knew through this, maybe, right? And then you sort of invested in growing together. So it's so beautiful to become a sort of, the Reason family, and it's really nice. So all are welcome all the time.
yep.
Thank you.
Say anything
Appreciate
about the
you.
next. Sorry, Puneet, go ahead.
I said appreciate all of you.
No,
Appreciate
I
both of you.
truly, yeah, no, definitely.
For sure. And just because I always say it on this theme, like we have the next call is that we are just sharing our gratitude, whatever you have done, not only for for the Bees and Challenge, if you followed it every day or not. Thank you for helping me grow and glow, says Manisha said to leave. That's so beautiful. Glow and grow. So, but whatever you have done for, I know, gratitude, and you want to share any practices that work for you or anything. So we'll have that session next week.
Yep. All right. With that, thank you, everyone. Let me pause, stop the recording now.